Hey everybody, so I just stumbled into a brand new Rpod model here. First time I've seen this one. It's a brand new floor plan. They haven't even weighed and measured this thing yet. And basically, when the Rpod 205 came out, it was the #1 most requested Rpod video. People are like, I want to see the 205, I want to see the 205. And virtually everything people said they didn't like about the 205, this new 207, fixes and or solves. So many people said, well, I don't care about the little dinette. I wish I had like that little dining bar taco truck window thing that Rpod does. Well, they did it. It gives us a 60 by 80 private true queen bedroom on a no slide, easy towing tandem axle that only weighs about 4,500 pounds empty. Now, obviously you got to account for cargo and GVW there, but this is small, light, mobile, agile, hostile. This is a slick little floor plan. Interestingly enough, internal jargon terms in Elkhart County and RV with no slides is known as a slick. So it really is a slick model. Larger 15,000 BTU air conditioner, central vacuum system, Goodyear tires, which a ton of brands have quit using, by the way. They tell you when they upgrade to Goodyears. They never tell you when they go away from them. Rpod has continued. The belly's enclosed, forced air heated. We have 200 watts of factory standard solar, a receiver hitch on the back, XL bathroom vent fans, surprisingly good storage, a very good cargo capacity on one of these. Just a laundry list of awesome qualities on this camper right here. And I love how they continue to build out and flesh out their lineup. And I tell you what, Rpod is really just listening. This whole group, Surveyor, Rpod, Ibex, all these guys, it's just basically, hey, folks, tell us what you want. We're going to do our best to make it happen. So let them know how they did here. Tell them what is good about this camper. Let them know what you'd like to see changed. And who knows, maybe they'll make another one for you. So to give you your bearings, basically, we're standing with our butts at the sink. I don't know how better to describe it than that. Cousin Garrett, the RV Nerd video editor, tends to give you Nerdivision in a little map down there to help you get your bearings. It seems like that'd be a handy thing. I always like to let you know where we're at in the RV. Something else that's really handy to know is that you do have centralized air in this RV. That's what these little guys right here are for. They help distribute that 15,000 BTU air conditioner's airflow around. Now, if you feel like your bedroom and your bathroom aren't getting cool enough, I've noticed factories almost always seem to ship them with the air dump open. So when that's open, it drops the cold air right here in the living cavity. Really nice on a hot summer day. And then at night you can start, this is nice on a hot summer day. And then at night you can start pushing the central air back through the extremities, I guess you could say, of the RV. But a lot of people don't realize that's even a thing. Now, one of the cool things about this, no slide RVs tend to be very good about this, is having easy airflow window coverage. This floor plan is no exception. And I love the fact that we have a tandem axle, no slide, no bunkhouse RV that's actually giving us a really nice theater seat. And they did it without making the RV impossible to walk through, thanks to the dining bar, breakfast bar, taco bar, whatever you want to call it over here, the Roseanne bar. It frees up a lot of space. But first of all, if I sit down at that wall-hugging theater seat that we just looked at, the TV does feel a little bit high because we are so darn close to it. You really kind of crane your neck up a little bit. But when you see what's in front of you, it makes a lot of sense because they really prioritized window coverage on this one. And from the theater seat, because you get to kind of potentially cheat up into the bedroom, the campsite window coverage on this is not too bad. I think it's better than what a lot of people realize. Also, just the little coat hooks by the door. It's insane how useful that stuff is and how little it costs. I would prefer a privacy shade installed in that window from the factory, but we can't always get what we want. I can always add one aftermarket, though. They're quick, simple, cheap, and easy. Power outlets down there, right at that countertop level. I think a really smart location if you want to do a little bit of laptop warrior work or just keep your phone charged up or something. Ooh, actually, because that is a pass-through window, you could potentially have your phone just inside, just out of the sun, charging, running your sound system. And you could just kind of reach in and grab it if need be. I think that's really handy. Now, this TV can pivot. You know what I'm wondering? I never thought about this because this RV does have sliding bedroom privacy doors. But what if we pivot the TV? Can we see it from bed? I suppose, as long as you want to leave those doors open, you could. Heck, depending on how you want to pivot, if you want to leave the bathroom door open, like my Uncle Gary using the bathroom at the Walmarts, you might almost be toilet TV certified. Not quite, maybe, but darn close. Moving on from there. Over here, like all of your switches and controls and everything are on this wall. So this guy up top is the Bluetooth connection point for the RV's onboard speaker system. Doesn't have an onboard stereo, just onboard speakers. On the left is your 30 amp solar charge controller. And then as we work our way down, awning, lights, water heater controls, water pump, and that's your how you set your water heater, the temperature, basically. Down below in this area, you see the little footprint on the floor. It's telling us that's where your central vacuum system's located. It seems like a small but growing number of RV companies are starting to include that feature. I've never had one. I've never had a central vacuum system in any RV that I've ever used. Now, my parents have, and when I've camped in their big, crazy, luxury, gorgeous fifth wheels over the years, they tend to have the RVs that have, well, every stuff. I mean, all the things. But that's never been my kind of camping, but they tended to do a lot more extended use camping than me. Now, we are up close and personal. I don't like to use wide angle lenses if I can help it. I know sometimes I'll give you a quick preview in wide angle mode, but that's about the most I like to do. And even then, I don't like it. But the theater seat here, they absolutely put in like the nerd preferred theater seat, where it's kind of like a 2.5 seater, where you've got maybe the little grandkids seat in the middle, but that's a fold down armrest. So you have cuddle compliance or population control, whichever you prefer. And obviously we have a couple of these little cup holder armrest insert kind of things there. Ooh, hello. This is why sometimes it pays for me to get down a little bit lower. We have household and USB outlets under those overhead cabinets on both sides there. Now, they are up a little bit high, so power cords might be dangling down, but you know what I could do? If I just wanted to have my phone charging and not in my pocket, but close by, I could plug them in and I could just set my phone up here on the valance. Like, sometimes you can turn a flaw into a feature with a little creativity. The kitchen. Overall, this RV actually has really nice storage capacity. I think what you would call primary kitchen, though, the countertop space, it's limited. It's really limited in this RV with the pass-through indoor-outdoor window. I think one of the primary expectations is that you're going to do a lot of your cooking and or prep work outside, and you have just enough, potentially, to get you through on the interior. Now, popping all this open, we do have hidden hinges and lumber core cabinetry. I can't remember if it's soft close. I noticed they don't have the magnet holdbacks on this. It's a little bit of a surprise. But we do have the soft close cabinetry, which is kind of nice. If you're clumsy like me, it just helps avoid a lot of the kablams, which is one of the... So, like, we have a soft close toilet lid at my house. And my daughter and I, she's cut from my cloth. There's no question. She's definitely got a bit of both me and my wife in her, certainly. But she's forgetful like me, and she gets distracted with her phone like me. And we tend to, when we're on vacation, forget that not every bathroom has soft close lids. And boy, do we wake up the neighbors at night if we have to use the bathroom. This circular sink is larger than most, so you can actually get plates in there and still get your hands around them. Also, it's a dual function sprayer. So in hammerhead mode right here, it's, get off of there, waterfall sprayer edge type variety. And then if you get it in here and rotate it, it just becomes a traditional one-shot sprayer faucet. I wish that shelf on the right-hand side of the screen wasn't there, because that would give me a nice spot for a wastebasket. I'm always hunting for those in an RV, and some people think I have some weird obsession for it. It's just functional. I'm very much a function over fashion kind of person. If that wasn't the case, I would not have driven like 2 Ford Tauruses until they just flat gave up the ghost. But I got over 500,000 miles out of those things, and they got the job done, and they were paid for. I didn't have a car payment. But trash can. Back to the topic. Every single time I go camping, every single day, I have a need to put something in a wastebasket. So when an RV doesn't have one, I find it irksome, and I go looking for a way for it to have one. Now, the RV's not totally level right now, and I don't... Open up. Open. Oh my... Come on. There we go. I don't think this is going to cooperate with me, but we do have a 10 cubic foot, 12 volt compressor fridge. You see that red box in there? That's actually your tire pressure monitoring system that is factory standard. Now, these compressor fridges, they cool crazy fast. They cool crazy fast. While you're in transit, if you're at a park, they're virtually categorically superior to a gas electric two-way. However, if you're going to boondock dry camp, that's where a two-way absorption fridge was really handy. Problem is, those aren't really readily available in the RV marketplace anymore, so we just don't tend to see a lot of those in the RV marketplace anymore. So, how much solar does it take to offset a 12-volt fridge? Let's kind of talk about that while you're looking at me standing up here in the skylight in the shower, because I'm a little bit over 6 foot tall and the RV has 6.5 foot ceilings. Opinions on how much solar you need vary. Some people will say, I only needed about 200 watts and I never had a problem. Some people will say you need at least 400 watts to even think about breaking even on those. What I say is there is no one answer. It totally depends on 100 billion zillion different factors. Now, take a look at this. The space around the toilet was excellent. Some of the Rpods I've been in the past, they have this big storage cabinet over here, and they made it too big. It was too close to the toilet where I couldn't actually like really use the toilet and take care of the things you need to take care of when you're on the toilet. Apparently they listened and they fixed it. Now, this is a tricky space to try to show you all the storage. So take a look at the right side of the screen. I threw my hat in a cabinet and just gave you kind of a look in there. That is some serious storage capacity. And they are coming factory standard for the last couple seasons with the bigger XL vent fan to keep that air flowing. Not only is that nice in the bathroom, but like if you open a couple windows over your dining area and you want to just force some airflow, it can make that happen for you. I love that mirror look. That looks sharp, right? And now if somehow you were in the mirror, because it was a magic mirror and looking out, this is what you would see right here, which is basically back to where the video began. Oh, hello. What do you do? Okay, bathroom light. Now this doesn't... Oh, hold on. What was that? Oh, the indirect lighting on the mirror. Cool. So that's like almost like a night light. Okay, awesome. That's why sometimes it's good to get in here and look around the corner. You know what I mean? Now, you do have sliding pocket privacy doors for the opening into the bedroom. You see these two little straps right there? That's what's holding the doors in place. We come up front here. We are greeted by a 60 by 80 True Queen bed, so no Shorty McShort pants beds for the Bed Goblin Union, the little guys that live under the bed and chew your toes if they stick out. You don't got to worry about that here in this here Rpod. But the curvature, the thing that makes this stand out and look really unique on the outside, is also what's preventing us from having functional, useful overhead cabinet space. So that'll kind of be a thing to sort of consider. I want to get you around the side of this a little bit so that you could see you do have what I call the headboard power pockets. There's actually household and USB outlets behind both of those hanging towers, both of which are hanging wardrobe storage. And you also have household and USB outlets in the front of this sucker right here. Not to mention, they kind of give you a Sir Mix-a-Lot double up of underbed storage. Because obviously you've got the little wicker totes that you can pop out there, or you could remove them, make it like a shoe garage. But they put a partition in here so that those things don't slide around too far, and you have an extra deep footlocker storage section. And one of the other benefits of a camper like this, having no slides, is you're always ready for road mode or storage. If the RV's in storage and you need to get in and pack stuff up or unpack something, it's just simple. It's easy. There's less maintenance. There's fewer seals. There's no slide motor. It's just simple camping, man. Now, in terms of towing, a lot of vehicles are going to find this within their safe and manageable capacities. The RV itself, no slides also means lighter weight, but only about 4,500 pounds. Roughly about 1,500 pounds of available cargo capacity. I think they haven't actually done the full weights and measures on this, but I think the GVW is going to be just a little bit north of 6,000. Using the Rpod 205 as a barometer point, this is essentially the same size with a different arrangement, only 25.5 foot long, so legitimately under 26 feet. That's tip to tail, by the way, including the coupler up front. Speaking of up front, let's start here. It looks like, for the most part, they didn't redo the look and the features of Rpod. I don't think they needed to. I think Rpod's in really good shape, but they added the little Forest River glowing badge on the front up here, which your neighbors at night would definitely appreciate if you turned that off. But you do, again, you have that pass-through window up front here. Now it does have the day and the night shade. It does have a radiant backer, and that is a dual pane. It actually is a hollow dual pane window up here. Those Euro style windows have 2.5 times better R value, even as compared to the best, quote, dual pane glass windows that you can upgrade to for tons of money on a lot of luxury RVs. So is it the same as a fully enclosed hard wall right above your head? No. But if you close that window and utilize the radiant barrier, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. If you sometimes camp in those hot places, you won't be necessarily scorching your scalp on this thing. Working our way around here. Slam latches, magnet holdbacks. By the way, slam latches is just more of a name. It's not necessarily a commandment. You don't have to kablammy these suckers all the time. There you go. I like the little pass-through motion lights that we have here. The underbelly of this will be enclosed. It will be forced air heated. Today, we are looking at an Eastern Edition Rpod. The Western editions carry the name Hood River Edition, and they gain, I think it's 3 specific features. They gain holding tank heat pads, they gain a Max Air roof vent cover, and they change out the tires to something a little higher profile to gain a little bit more ground clearance. One of the tricky things about the front nose shape of Rpods, though, is it does sometimes limit them to a smaller awning, and this is one of the floor plans where that did kind of come to pass right here, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I don't know. I guess you can't have everything, especially when you're only 25.5 foot tip to tail length. I think for the most part, they did a pretty good job here. Goodyear Endurance radials. Let's talk about this with tire pressure monitoring, by the way. A lot of RV manufacturers, to try to fight increasing cost factors on RVs, to try to make these things somewhat reasonably affordable, have stopped using Goodyears. A ton of brands have stopped using Goodyears. Rpod has maintained using Goodyears. I don't know if you've ever priced these out. The hard cost to the manufacturer is about plus $100 per tire. So you're probably, depending on the deal they get on a given time, $400 to $500 of additional money just in the tires right there. And I don't know if you caught looking between those. It is a leaf spring axle system, but this is riding on a Norco chassis, not your traditional Lippert I-beam frame. Some people prefer one or the other. I just want to let you know how it's built so that you can decide how to spend your money. Again, the pass-through window does have, if you're not understanding what I mean by a radiant backer on the back of the window, let me pull, oh, hold on, the front, the taco truck window doesn't have one, only the front window. Okay, well, crap. Let me get around to the front here. I guess I should have pulled this down from over here. There you go. Radiant backer. Basically, looks like aluminum foil. The kind of thing Uncle Gary wears as a hat to keep the governments from reading his brain chips. Probably. I don't know. Uncle Gary's an interesting character, isn't he? Moving on. The outdoor griddle station is kind of remaining as one of those Rpod sort of signature features. Now, I don't know where the little sprayer head is. Usually it has the handy little garden hose head actually attached right there. That is a longer little coily slinky hose than I usually see from a lot of manufacturers too. All right. Moving our way back, we do have an on-demand water heater. And if you think about the location of the bathroom and the kitchen, this is pretty close to both, so you should get fast, reliable, on-demand hot water service there. Below your spare tire, you do have a 2-inch receiver hitch, so basically like 300-pound rated receiver hitch. Your roof is fully walkable. By default, you have 200 watts of solar up there. The charge controller could accept a little more, like you could definitely throw a second 200-watt panel. Much beyond that, I don't know exactly how much the wiring can handle. I've never had that spec personally given to me. This floor plan also is a single sewer outlet kind of camper, which is very, very nice. And what do you think about the kind of, I don't know, bronze wheel colors here and the way that it sort of ties in with the graphics? Personally, I like it just because it looks a little different. But sometimes I know that jelly ain't everyone's jam. So leave me a little note if you're willing. Let me know what you think about that. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to leave you a bunch of links in the description. First of all, whether you're curious or serious about the price tag on one of these guys right here, check those links. You'll get to see where we have one of these and what the going rate is on one of them, at least MSRP, but usually some pricing directly listed for you for anything in stock. Secondly, if you're like, yeah, but I don't like the dining bar, I do prefer dinette, check out the Rpod 205 video or any of the other Rpods that I've got listed out here. They have a laundry list of really cool floor plans. I think you might like looking through. So until next time, thank you, everybody. We'll see you again. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.